All right, welcome back to the Super Coach Enough channel. In this video, we're going to continue our series looking at FL draft strategies. And with this one, we're actually going to look at auction or salary cap draft. So we have talked about this before. Essentially, unlike regular drafts where you pick in a certain order, um, with auction drafts, basically you take turns in nominating players. Those players are then put up for auction. And you can bid on the players you want. So the reason why I guess I like this style of NFL draft is first of all it's a bit similar to Supercoach in that there's a bit of cash involved in the sense of having a budget and trying to fit the best team within that budget. And then it also has the nice bit about draft is that if you own a player, you don't have to worry about the other team having the same player. So they're all unique picks in the end. And yeah, and I think the auction draft itself is actually more fun than just a traditional snake draft because obviously, there's people wanting the same player, get into bidding wars, all that sort of fun stuff, So yeah, so I guess speaking of auction and salary cap drafts, got one open to anyone who's interested to join. So the link should be in the description below this video. Um, Feel free to sign up. Um, at the moment, we're looking at drafting the week before week one. It is subject to change just depending on, if the majority of people would prefer a bit of a different time. But I guess, trying to find a time that I could fit in amongst everything I've got going on was probably the main priority, particularly because we'll probably look at live streaming it as well on the channel. So another little added fold into the challenge. Excuse me. So as I said, how the draft process works is people take turns to nominate players, and then you go ahead and bid on them. And with the nominations, yes, a common strategy is to actually nominate players you don't want to bid, but particularly early, is the players you're not really that interested in. And the theory behind that is it's designed to try and take money off the board, um, and try to get people wasting their money. So when players come in later that you do want, there's less competition for them. There's probably two main strategies that we can go with. So I guess the main one or the regular one would be a what we call stars and scrubs or studs and duds, or I guess it's like a guns and rookies to use a super coach analogy. But essentially, it's where you load up on as many of the first and second round talents as you can. Spend most of budget, and then everyone else is going to be like, dollar bids at the end and that sort of thing. So that's the first strategy. The other strategy is to take a bit more of a balanced approach. So with this video, we'll look at the more balanced approach just to give you a bit of an idea. So if we have a look at our roster here, we've got pretty standard, quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end, a kicker, a defense, a flex, which can be running back, wide receiver, or tight end, and then 5 bench slots. So when I'm looking at this sort of setup, what I'm thinking is my kicker, my defensive and special teams, and probably about four. Oh, actually, sorry, I'll take that back. Excuse me. So generally, my defense, special teams, and kicker, I'll spend $1 on, or that's the budget I plan for. The last four bench options, I like to have $2 just because sometimes when someone tries to throw a dollar player and the one you want, it's good to be able to bid the $2 on them and make sure you snap them up. And so, yeah, so I guess if we work backwards from that, so we've got, these 6 slots. So 4 lots of 2 is 8 plus 2, the kicker and defense is 10. And so I should have said as well, in this draft, we're using a budget of 200, which is pretty standard. So if we take that $10 off, we've got 190 to spend between our starting 7 plus one of our bench. So the way I like to operate it is I'm looking to get 4 wide receivers, so covering my flex and my bench spot, um, two running backs rather, and my quarterback, and I plan on spending about $25 each. So that's $175. All right, so we're up to 185 in total. It gives me about 15 for my tight end. So I'm probably not going to get Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, maybe even TJ Hawkinson would be out of budget. But, that next tier down, like your Kittles, Waller, Kyle Pitts even, we can probably get one of them in the $15 price range. I guess also if we're looking at around the $25 sort of balance, we're not going to get the likes of Jefferson, McCaffrey, that sort of thing, unless for whatever reason everyone is absolutely sleeping on them. We might not get the top end quarterbacks either, but we can, if we're taking this more balanced approach, we're okay with it. We want to basically have a setup where we've got solid running backs, four solid wide receivers, and a good quarterback. And then our bench options, as we need them, but we're not going to spend a lot of money. So we'll kick off the draft, and as I said, because I'm looking to budget a bit, I'm just going to go straight up and nominate Justin Jefferson off the top. Some people throw out some funky ones like I'm just trying to think for an example, maybe like an Antonio Gibson or someone like that, and that it's someone they don't want, but you do also want to not run the risk of actually getting stuck with that player. If no one wants them, you've just wasted $1, which isn't much, admittedly, but also you've wasted a spot in your lineup. Although if you get Gibson for $1, for example, it's not the worst in the world. He's a pretty good bench um, player in terms of what this format. All right, so we'll kick off and nominate Justin Jefferson. All right, so straight away you can see the bid's gone up to 36, which is well above us. So we'd have to sit and wait. But with this automated system, we can just skip through. So you can see even for $50, which is, a big chunk of your budget. So Austin Eckler up second. We could try and bid at 23, but it's gone to 32. So we're going to give up on that. And I guess as well, we're just going to be doing a lot of sitting here to start with. Let's bid 19 because we can. It's in our budget. And, we could end up getting someone like maybe not a McCaffrey, although this is getting dangerously close. Well, there you go. We just landed Christian McCaffrey for $19. Probably not going to happen in your actual person league. But, that's also part of the process of bidding early. If it's in your budget, grab it. It's an absolute bargain. It looks like they're big on wide receivers, so we'll skip that. And I guess the other thing too is because we've got him so cheap, we'll just see who's up next. Saquon, we're not that interested in him, I suppose. So because we've spent $19, we've actually got an extra six, so let's go 20, why not? So if this bid gets up close to $30, which it's sort of pushing that way, so we might actually be able to, we could bid 28, and we've spent $50 or $40 on our running backs, so let's do it. Which is, I guess, well within the $25 budget that we had for them. So, we got $50 worth of running backs for what's that, 28 and 19, 47. So, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, that's a pretty awesome setup. So, I guess this is starting to look a bit like a studs and duds sort of setup. But as I said, the algorithm on this is a bit poor. So Tyreek Hill, he's obviously out of our price range. We're not stressed, so we're willing to push him out. We'll get people that are, within our price bracket. And, people that are paying these big amounts of cash for them. So you can see, for example, Le'Veon or Die Hard. Oh, hang on. I've got to bid $5 for Cooper Cup. It's got to go for more than that, surely. You can see he's spent $100 already on two, whereas we've only spent 50, and I just got Cooper Cup for $5. This is how broken this setup is. So I guess maybe you could say, well, it's he's the end of the tier, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's just ridiculous. Let's be honest. Let's keep going though. So again, it's just about seeing who you can get. So I've got another $20 there. So, I'm not necessarily just going to pay $40 for the next wide receiver to make up the difference, or 45. See, he's gone to 48. That's what I mean. It's not the best for it. It's more just to practice, the skill seeing, how it all works, that sort of thing. But yeah, you'll find when you're actually playing with real humans that a lot of these bids will go a lot higher. See, like not big bids on Kelsey, so we'll go for that. So this is an example. We said we had $15 in our budget for tight end. Because we've saved $20, we can now go 35. So I'm going to bid 30. If we get Kelsey for 30, I'm happy with that. No, we're not paying 40 there. 47. Fair enough. CD Lamb, bid $2. So I guess you'll notice as well, like I'm not really bidding up in big amounts. If it was if like a real person sort of league, I might have to. I've accidentally bid 30, but that's okay. No, someone's come over the top. Definitely didn't want to pay more than 25 for CD Lamb. As good as a player as he is, there's definitely more value to come that yeah, we can get. Bijan Robinson, so would be nice to get. And, it's one of those things too, I suppose. If everyone is well off running backs, it could be one where we sort of change the strategy and go hard in the paint on running backs. So I'll just bump it up a bit. I might actually get stuck with this bid, but wouldn't have thought so, given I've already got McCaffrey and Saquon. There we go, 24. Thanks, legend. I'll just skip him. But I guess you've always, and yeah, obviously you can't skip in a real time auction, so you do have to sit there and wait. You can be tempted to bid like Josh Jacobs. He's probably one that will go a bit cheaper, I think, than he's projected. Um, it was obviously the best RB in terms of scoring last year, but I'm not paying that much for him. If you can get him for under 25 as our bench cover or our flex, we'd take it. But I guess similar to our previous videos when we've looked at running backs, some of them do seem to be overhyped in terms of the algorithm. Jonathan Taylor, I just throw a bid in. We're done with that. So I guess it does take a bit longer. This is one of the disadvantages of this draft setup. So Pat Mahomes is one of the top QBs, so we've got to have a look at him. See 25. So this is another opportunity where we could perhaps bid over our $25, but there's probably the other options that I would prefer. And I just realised I missed my previous nomination, so that's all right. It doesn't give you long to nominate, which is a bit annoying. But so yeah, so Josh Allen. So Josh Allen's one that I was alluding to. I'd probably rather pay the $30 for rather than a Pat Mahomes. Just more mobile, so has that rushing upside. Bid 22. So what did we have? We had an extra 20, so we can go up to 45. Let's just go. I think maybe if we can't get him too cheap, we'll go hard for Jalen Hurts. That might be the opted strategy. $30 is still good value. 32. Oh, that's an interesting one. 34. No, okay, it's getting out of hand now. We'll let them have him. 38. So just having a look, 43, 38, we might be paying about $40 for Jalen Hurts. And you can see this is the sort of things that we're looking at, and particularly, when we start to add humans into the mix. If you get a bit emotional and you're like, oh yeah, I really want to get that player, people will bid crazy money for that particular player. But like I said, it's more of a thing of we've got the money, so why don't we? Tony Pollard, he's a solid option if you get him for the right price. Bid 9, why not? 27. It's out of our price range. AJ Brown. So we're back on wide receivers. This is a good thing. So I guess as well, we've got a bit of money to spend. We could go for the AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts stack, which would be really nice having that premium QB with the wide receiver. So we'll push the envelope a bit here. See if we can get him. Nah, not at 47. You can have him. I reckon, yep, $46 it was. Hurts so good. Surely he's going to nominate Jalen. Not Stefan Diggs. Right on. He's one I'd push up towards the 30 mark. 35, 36. Yeah, no, we can do better. Nick Chubb, running back. Unless we get him super cheap, which we're not going to at a bit of 30, we'll pass that on. So it's probably not the best for recording purposes. A little bit of dead air here, but this is how it works. So I'll try to get yeah. So I guess if we think about it, Cooper Cup was $5, which leaves us about 95 for our three other wide receivers. So if we can try and bid about 30, 35, let's try 34. See if we can get him. Looks like we might have our second wide receiver. Welcome, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Ramondre Stevenson, not interested at all. We'll skip him. Garrett Wilson, yes, we are interested. We will bid on him. 24, yeah, we can afford that. Yeah, let's go 26. 32, that's probably just out of our price range, I think. No, it sucked into 32. 33, no, you can have him. All right, there's the ding, our bid. So I just realised it's a snake draft, which is nice. So normally you would get more than 10 seconds to nominate. Usually it's 30 seconds or even a minute because, yeah, it's a bit more strategic. So you can see it's saying I want tight ends. So there's a lot of tight ends here. But I do want Jalen Hurts, but I also want to get some money off the table. So what I might do is I might actually throw Mark Andrews out there, see if we can get some more money off the board so that we can afford Jalen Hurts when his number comes up. Unless we can, of course, get him super cheap within our $15 budget. So we will put in a bid at 8. Might just get Mark Andrews at $8 here. Oh no, someone come in at the last second. And again, it didn't give me time to go over the top. So I'll just pause that because we're running out of time. Yeah, so like I said, this whole system is a bit cooked, but it's customization and stuff, and the fact it's free is quite nice. So I'm going to throw TJ Hawkinson in there. Same sort of deal. If we can get him for 15, we're laughing. Um, yeah, so already a bit of 15. I mean, we do have that extra bit of cash. No, it's gone up to 25. No, thank you. $29. I think that's overpriced, but whatever. Travis Etienne. Uh, not unless he goes for 5 or something. T. Higgins, wide receiver, will be in for this. So I guess I have drafted T. Higgins before, and actually, I think it was the first year I drafted him and Jamar Chase. Um, And I thought, oh, that's a bit stiff having two wide receivers from the same team. But it actually worked out quite well because he's a good foil for Chase, but probably not at 27, 28. No, it's going up. I don't want it. Jalen Waddle, so I guess, very similar profile to T. Higgins, stuck behind Tyreek Hill. That's wide receiver two, but, in most teams he would be a wide receiver one. And when he gets targeted, he does things. So if he gets targets, he'll do the business. Let's see. Let's push 26. Just because we want to try and fill out our team as quickly as we can. 28, not having it. 37. Whoa. But yeah, I think I was talking about this before and then I got sidetracked. So, you know, you would probably be pushing the bid up more. But if other players are pushing up the bid, there's nothing wrong with just going in with the extra dollar. And particularly if you can, throw it in quick, you might sort of get people to think, oh, they're just going to bid whatever. Let's bump it right up. And then you can catch them out. Joe Mixon will pass on him. So, yeah, and I guess, you get the feel of that once you get in and actually interact with the other people in your league and stuff. Like I got one mate who is very quick to get on tilts and stresses and panics and probably makes some dodgy moves and then kicks himself when it doesn't end up going the way he wants. So probably not for Najee Harris. And so you can see this is part of it too. You see people stressing about, oh, McCaffrey went cheap, Barkley went cheap, Cooper Kupp super cheap. And, they'll start overbidding on these players that probably aren't worth that much too. So, um, while I am sort of showing the more balanced approach, can get Aaron Jones for 14, would take that. Um, as I was saying, if you can, get in early and get some value guys, it puts pressure on everyone else. So for that reason, I usually do lean more towards the stars and scrubs approach. Um, and then, it puts pressure on everyone else to try and get their team as good as yours, and they might overpay on a few, and that's when you've got that advantage. So interesting that Jalen Hurts hasn't come up. Everyone's sitting on him, even though it's a automated league. Devonta Smith, we could do the stack with him and Hurts, so we'll bid on him. 23s. Yeah, we can afford 30, can't we? As of thanks to you, Mr. Cooper Cup. Nah, 40, not doing me. 39, it's all yours. And you can see as well, like you start to look at the max bids that are available. So it sort of does equate to people's budgets. Because, once you get to the stage where you can only bid $1 for each player, your max bid is $1. You can't go backwards, although you will see as we get deeper into this that this will break and people will have negative max bids available, and even negative budgets. But yeah, again, it's just about getting the feel of it. And once you get down to those bench options anyway, it's usually about 60 picks or so in where you'll find a lot of the budget starts to go anyway. So, if you have your targets after about 80p, 60 or so, you'll be fine. Jimmy Gibbs. Oh, yeah. Oh, I could have had him for 10. Just too busy talking. And that's what can happen too. If you're not paying attention, you can have these picks slip through the cracks. Chris Olave is one we're not going to let slip through the cracks, though. We're all about it. Or we might have it there, but last second bid. Just keep nudging it up, see what we can get him for. Get him for 18, that's mint. Yeah, nice. So James Conner we're not interested in. So we'll just have a quick look back at the draft board. So we've spent 18, 52, $57. So really, if we go by the budget, we've got $43 to spend, but we're not obviously going to spend that on one person at this stage. Um, yeah, don't even really want James Conner at $10. You can have him. So, what we might do is we might try and get two more decent. Plus, we'll throw the kitchen sink at this guy. Let's be honest. We love Jalen Hurts. So, bid 11. Hopefully, yeah, we can afford to go 40. We've got the budget. I'm going to get him for $11. That's insane. Such a cooked algorithm. Should have a go and see if I can make a better one. Take a bit of time and energy, but it'll be a fun activity to teach some students about algorithms. Keenan Allen. I mean, 'cause I guess then we're almost starting to run into the opposite problem where, we've got $78 left and only 8 people. So even if we average that out across all of it, we've got about $10 per person, 85 and 8. So we do have, more than $10 per person. And we're seriously not going to spend more than $2 on the kicker and the defense. So we've got 6 players and about $80 to spend. So I guess it's when we get to these sort of guys like Calvin Ridley that would be really handy additions we're going to go in for. And again, we don't have to overspend. We don't have to go $20 because I've got it. Just keep chipping away. Like if we get a player for under $10, it just makes it easier to get everyone else going forward. Yeah, we've got plenty of cash. We'll get Calvin whatever price we have to pay, I reckon. Suggested value 31, maybe not quite, but everyone else has burnt through so much budget, and they've still got to get more players than us. So we've got a similar budget but less slots. We can afford to go a little bit harder. And I guess as well, this ties into you can go in and you can have specific, targets like I'm going to get Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, the Philly stack, no matter what. You can absolutely do that, but then just know that that can affect the rest of your drafts and your budgets and whatnot. 37 for DJ Moore, you're having a laugh. Let's just skip past that. Yeah, I mean you can go in and you can do zero RB, but we would have missed out on a couple of bargains in McCaffrey and Saquon. And if I have the choice between zero RB and I've still got a really nice wide receiver core, and I'm going to add Amari Cooper to that potentially at $10. Um, yeah, go with it. So have a plan, absolutely. Oh no, it's the last second bid. That's fine. We're not stressed about that. Dallas got it. So again, we could have our third crack at the tight end stack. We could pay 15. We could pay more. Yeah, generally it doesn't look good paying so much for a tight end, but unless it's Travis Kelce, really. But I'm going to get him for $3 here. Wow, I am going to run out of money. But that's fine. We can build a super squad. Let's see what we can get. Debo, let's have him. Why not? Wide receiver one at San Fran. Oh, need to bid again. Yeah. So everyone is just cooked. This algorithm is cooked. But you see, you're bidding on players, you're getting the value. Let's go Brees Hall. What can we afford? We can still afford $10 easy, 15 even. 15. I think there's other wide receivers that I prefer anyway, so I might skip him. Like I think he'll be a good late season, but he'll take a while to get back. Joe Burrow. We'll look for another more mobile quarterback. I have a couple of ideas around what we could do for a backup. Jerry Judy, yes, we'll have a bit of that. So my pick is, well, my picks, because I've got two back to back. I forgot it's a snake nomination. It's coming back around. So, and I guess at this stage, it's a tricky one. Like if we nominate anyone, people, yeah, are looking for players, but we do also have the finances to splash out on a couple. So we might actually try and nominate players we want. But I've got Jerry Judy, brilliant. Lamar. So this is the guy I was thinking, just as a luxury, because we can afford him, or at least we can drive everyone else up to burn through more of their budget. But we've still got plenty of coin. Well, we've only got two bench spots and we got $40, so why not? Let's treat ourselves to a luxury backup QB. 25. That's right. I'd probably rather go for Justin Fields if I'm being honest. So, in fact, if I can find him, we should throw him out there. Let's throw out Justin Fields and try and get some more cash out of the way. Or, as I said, ultimate luxury backup quarterback. $7. No, surely not. There's so many teams that haven't picked a QB yet. Yeah, I'll just keep going. Like, I've got $42 left. If I spend 35 on him, he gives me $5 for my last bench spot, plus a kicker and defense. I got him for 26. I'm killing it. All right, so let's have a look. Obviously we'd have more time to nominate, but I probably just need another backup running back. My wide receiver core is tight, but two awesome quarterbacks. So what running back do we want? We want probably Alvin Kamara. Let's see if we can get him for under $14. 9, 10, 11. We're going to get him. This is unreal. Alvin Kamara. So he obviously is out the first few weeks with suspension, but after that, he's rolled gold sort of option. Yeah, so this is a filthy squad just looking at it. All right, so let's just skip through because I'm pretty sure we can only get defenses and tight ends from here. And so you can see people still paying overs for the likes of Chris Godwin. As I said, the algorithm is slightly broken. It'll get to the stage where there'll be negative budgets, but we're probably not even going to get there. We're going to have cash left over, which is a bit of a cardinal sin. But I mean, for the team we've got, we couldn't have really paid too much more for any of them. We could have. I mean, we definitely would be still going if we didn't say get Cooper Cup for $5. That wouldn't have got us Justin Fields or, you know, those sort of guys. So yeah. So again, it's just about being flexible, finding value. Really, that's what the auction draft is about. It's about the value. If you can get someone underneath what you think they're worth, then it's good value. I know my mates in the past have given it to me one year. I went hard on just buying up every quarterback. But the theory was if I'd paid $30 on a quarterback because no one valued him, I could then trade them for, a running back that they'd paid $40 for because they were desperate for a gun quarterback and I actually had one. And, I could pick and choose who I wanted from their team. So I wouldn't recommend fully doing that strategy. It was a bit of a piss take when I did that. Um, but yeah, it was just a case of, well, no one's paying up for them and they're all value. So I'll just scoop them up and we'll go again later. All right, so I still got ages until my picks. Yeah, they've come up too. That's nice. George Kittle. Yeah, so if you look at I guess the rest of the remainder, this is about, sort of how it would go for most other people. Um, looking at about, half your picks because it's got like, between 8 and 10 left essentially. And there's only a squad of, what is it, 6, 8, 14. So, some of these teams have only picked 3 or 4 players, and they've used half their budget for that. So generally, I think that's the common rule is 80% on your starting team, 20% on your bench. But honestly, if you're confident in some of the later sort of sleeper picks, I suppose that you're willing, you can get away with spending $1 on. And there's definitely plenty of them that I am keen on. Don't get me wrong about that. But yeah, you can certainly go harder in the earlier picks and spend more of your budget. Again, that's more duds or studs and duds sort of setup. But yeah, this more balanced approach, you can see that it is nice because you just have confidence in every player that you have that they can just slot in and do a job. So it must be my turn to pick. Ding, there it is. So we can pick whichever defense we want. We want the Dallas defense. There could even be some potato bid $2 on it. But we can just bid 3. Why? Because we can. That's literally what it comes down to. If any of these guys were to spend more than maybe $2 if they desperately wanted it on their actual defense, then they've lost it. So we'll just go McPherson as our kicker just to finish off the team. So no one should bid $2 on a kicker, but of course someone does. Someone bids 3, they've lost it. And now we've got to sit and wait to go all the way through. So skip. Yeah, I think you guys get the hang of it anyway at this point, but we'll spend that last $2 on a kicker. And then if we have a look at the draft board with our balanced lineup, we hit our targets, which was, having a nice core of wide receivers through the flex and one on the bench. So Cup, St. Brown, Alave, Ridley, if we could get them for 100, I'd say yes, please. All right, we got 2 running backs for $50, which is nice and balanced as well. Our quarterback, we paid way less than 25. Our tight end, we had 15 to spend and we killed it, got a $3 bargain. Also got the stack for 14 in total, which is insane. And so then obviously we splashed out on our bench, got, a few more gun wide receiver options, a nice backup running back, and even the luxury of a gun QB as our second option there. And then obviously because we're ahead of the pack, we could go in and get our team and kicker, defensive team, I should say, and kicker nice and quickly. Obviously, I won't bore you with the draft trying to get a kicker. Yeah, and comparing it to some other sides, you can see there's teams that haven't even got a quarterback yet. This team hasn't even got a running back yet. Um, there's teams missing their wide receiver twos. It's not to say there's not plenty of options left. If we just quickly go back and have a look, it's not going to show me kickers there, isn't it? But yeah, you can see the likes of Montgomery's on the board at the moment. So we'll go to all. So in terms of value, still guys like Lockett, Christian Kirk, Marquise Brown, Javonte Williams, like I said, value. Deontay Johnson, value. Dalvin Cook could be some early season value, depending if Breece Hall gets up or not, or if he gets up or not. So yeah, you don't have to go all in at the start. If you can get the right price for these guys in the middle, take it. But like I said, this is not the best system by any stretch. It's one that's free, allows me to customize it and does the job. But this has been a bit of a longer one, so we'll wrap it up there. As I said, fill in kicker here, $2 to spend. It's pretty sorted, and you can clearly see we've got the most dominant side. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, Please remember to like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Comment below, obviously, if you've got any thoughts on this team. It's pretty awesome. Also, remember in the description to if you want to join our NFL fantasy comp, it will be a salary cap draft. So, particularly if you did enjoy this aspect of it, feel free to get on. Um, you know, as long as you don't let me buy these players for this price, you'll be okay. But other than that, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.